I think there's the huge potential to transform healthcare and, improve preventive healthcare as well, not just diagnosis and treatment. So that's an area I'm very excited about.
What is your sort of take on the current investment landscape, and what do you think is driving whatever those trends are?
It's a really tough environment. We are paying the price of a bit of over-exuberant behaviour a couple of years ago. So
post-COVID. Yeah, it was crazy then, wasn't it?
During COVID and coming out of COVID, everyone was just making these assumptions that, growth and adoption of these technologies will continue like this, and that, behaviour will remain the same. And although some things have changed, we're probably all spending a bit less time watching Netflix, aren't we? And there are lots of other services. So, the world has come back to normal a little bit. And, a lot of our investments that, had achieved nice valuations in the market are, if they're in the unlucky position of having to fundraise again, are having to go back with much more modest valuations. Actually, as an angel investor, getting involved early, it's a good time to be investing, but it does take a little bit of confidence that the market is going to recover. So, a lot of good entrepreneurs have been, laid off from the scale-ups they were part of. They've taken that experience. They've started businesses themselves. So there's some really good founders coming through in the pipeline, and modest valuation expectations so we can get in relatively cheap now. But, I think people are feeling a little bit poorer, and, it's very hard to be confident while all this terrible stuff is going on around us. And it does feel like it's one sort of economic or, global shock after another at the moment, doesn't it? So
yeah, it does. But I think that does make total sense. I think there was definitely over exuberance post COVID. There was so much money flying around. It just feels like everything and anything was getting invested in. And I think we're in a position now where it's this term corrections. The market's having a correction, isn't it? And I think the reality is setting in now, and profit is kind of like more important than growth all of a sudden. And I think that needs to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, all the mantra of growth at any cost and throwing money at user acquisition, that's all gone away for the time being. And it's probably a more, realistic...
It's a more sensible market right now, I suppose, isn't it?
A more sensible market. But, unfortunately, we had this sort of, over-exuberance followed by over-correction. And, it's a really tough market to be a startup raising money at the moment. Even if the business is doing well, we've got lots that are doing well and having to be a lot more modest in terms of their valuation and how much money they raise at the moment.
Yeah, sure. What type of businesses are attracting attention from investors right now then, Sarah? I suppose the obvious one is AI-orientated companies and automation. But is that the case? Sorry, I've made that assumption, but is that the case? And if not, or if it is, what else? What else is getting attention right now?
So, absolutely AI is generating a huge amount of attention and investment, but also kind of, I suppose, what we call less sexy businesses, things that are kind of, will make businesses operate more efficiently. So they make things work faster and cheaper. Things that are sticky. Once your client is signed up, it's very difficult for them to leave. These are all the principles that we're looking for. Also, things that are kind of genuinely need to have. Anything that's a bit sort of a nice to have at the moment is lower down the shopping list. Sure. I think anything consumer oriented is struggling quite a lot at the moment, unless it's something that is genuinely recession proof.
Right, that's interesting. Oh, okay, fair enough then. So, I suppose it's a case of I think cost savings and efficiency is the sort of that's in fashion at the moment, it's in vogue at the moment, I suppose.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. No, that's really interesting. So, so what kind of technology innovation are you most excited about in the world right now, Sarah?
I mean, we've touched on AI and everyone's talking about that, both the kind of the opportunities and the threats, and both are very interesting. I suppose my approach, I've always kind of, I love technology and I love the possibility, but I'm sort of, it's the ends rather than the means of getting there. So, I'm really excited by, we've done a lot of healthcare investments and using technology, and it's not always even very complicated technology, but things we can do to make healthcare systems, people in the healthcare systems, work better together, collaborate more efficient, triaging tools, things that help frontline workers do some of the work of clinicians, so that that resources are deployed more efficiently. We're seeing a lot of businesses like that, and then of course ones that are using AI to improve diagnostics and to accelerate treatments, and I think there's the huge potential to transform healthcare and improve preventive healthcare as well, not just diagnosis and treatment. So that's an area I'm very excited about. Seeing some fantastic businesses that are kind of deploying AI and other technologies just to help reverse climate change. So I think there's a lot in the kind of the materials area. There's a lot of discussion, isn't there, about single-use plastic and concerns about that. But surely we can come up with a recyclable type of plastic, because there are areas where we can never avoid using single-use plastic. So, for example, in healthcare, because of hygiene concerns and things like that. But so things like that.